kids. Today, we're gonna make a belay bar, or a belaying bar. This thing is what we're gonna make. Thought I'd show the finished product first because it's a little weird to explain. I'd never heard of such a thing. I'm not even sure what belaying is. I have a very limited understanding, but this is for a climbing wall. So it'll mount on the wall like so. Now, from what I understand, your rope will go around this in a loop, and you can use this to control your descent or ascent up the climbing wall. So it'll hang off a wall like this. Now, you can buy these. The ones I saw online were about $250 for a much smaller version of this. So this thing cost me about $80 in materials, maybe $100. I didn't have to pay for the pipe. But given that, it was about $80 in materials and a few hours of my time. So let's get to it. What we got here is a piece of steel pipe. I think this is probably some Schedule 40. We got some 1/4-inch steel plate, and then we got some angle steel here that is, 1/8 inch by 1 1/4. So we're gonna cut this steel plate down, make 2 matching pieces to fit on either side of this pipe. And then this will be this construct will be welded to the angle iron. And we'll probably mill some slots in this to fit 3/8 inch lag screws. My understanding is that this is going inside in a house. So we want to be able to fit this on studs that are should be 16 inches on center. So that's the purpose of this angle iron, is to make a bracket to mount to the studs. And we'll have this construct in the middle. And yeah, that's my rough plan. I'm gonna mark all this out, lay it out, cut it down, weld it up, and I don't know, hopefully this won't be a terribly long project. Let's lay this out. I'll zoom you in here a little bit. Get you closer here. How's that look? Okay, so I'm just kind of winging it here, if I'm perfectly honest. I know we want 2 pieces on the side from this steel here. This is 1/4-inch plate. And we want enough space back here to bring our rope over. So we'll say, a couple inches there. And then we'll also have to have 1 1/4 inch to fit in back behind the angle there. So first, let's just mark out where our pipe's going to go. You're kidding me. All right, so we're just going to line our pipe up here. So we'll mark out where we want our pipe here. And we'll just make a line all the way across the plate for the cut. How much do we have here? Should be 12 inches, right? Yep, right on 12. So if we cut this, it leaves us like 4 3/4. Is that enough? If we have 4 3/4 inches, that means 2 3/8 minus 1 1/4. I think that would work. So it would be about, I mean, I think that's enough room to fit your rope through there. I don't know, maybe we ought to add a little more there. Probably ought to bring it out to about 3 1/4. Yeah, we'll cut 2 of these. So we're gonna come out about 3 1/4 from the edge here. It would be nice to use this other piece, but I think it's gonna leave us wanting for space. So we'll cut those 2 shapes out, weld our pipe on there. We're gonna cut our angle iron down too. So we want, what do we want? 16 inches, maybe a little bit more. So if we got a stud that's 16 inches on center, they're actually gonna be from edge to edge of the stud 17 1/2. Is that right? Let's make it 17 1/2. Let's turn this over and make the marks where we can actually see them. 17 1/2, and then 35. Is that right? Looks about right. And then we need a couple pieces that are going to be about as tall as this. So we got how much here? That's about 3 5/8. So we want a couple pieces that are 3 5/8. So we'll go down here and mark that. All right, we got everything laid out. Let's get loud, make some cuts. So we'll cut these up. Use wire brush or flat disc on these to clean this up. There's some paint on this pipe, so we have to do that. I do have one beveled edge. We'll probably just bevel this by hand a little bit on the other end. How long is this? Let's see how long this is. It's about 10 1/2 inches, which I think will be good. Probably overkill, but that's what we're gonna do. All right, kids, let's clean these up, cut them down. I did tack this on in a couple places. Got it positioned up, so we're gonna weld this first plate on here. All right, so we got the first plate welded on. We got to get this second one lined up and semi-square here. That looks okay. Let's tack this on. So we got part of it welded up and cleaned up. Next thing we need to do is cut some slots in our rails here to put a 3/8 inch lag screw in. So got a 3/8 inch end mill in here, roughly centered. This stuff is not critical by any sense of the word. So we'll just rough it in here. Got a few marks. Just going to give us about 1.5 inch slot on either side. So if we need to adjust from side to side, just in case the studs aren't perfectly 16 inches on center, which is very likely to happen. All right, that's that for that operation. We need to deburr these a little bit. So these rails are going to be the place that we attach these to the studs of the wall, like I explained earlier. So these slots are for some 3/8 inch lag screws. And this will be welded on here and on this side. And we're probably going to throw this little piece of angle in here and weld that on as well. Give it a little bit more support, a little bit more surface area welded together. So we're going to weld this up, and then we got to clean this up really good, and we'll paint it, and I think we'll be done. Got her cleaned up. Use a grinder, the Dremel, some sandpaper, and got it decently clean. So we're going to put some primer on here first. All right, we'll let that dry. And then we're gonna put some black gloss enamel on there. All right, we got the paint on it. And we're pretty much done. Now it's time to test this thing out. I got it up here on the wall in the garage bay of the shop. And I only put 2 of the lag screws in because I don't think we really need the 4th one right now to test it. This is a 3.5 inch, maybe 4 inch, 3/8 inch lag screw. So I pre-drilled it with a 15/64 drill bit and then used a 9/16 socket to drive it in there tight. Let's try it out. We've got a lot of clutter in here, so not a lot of room to work. And I wish I had a little taller space, but you know, whatever. The main thing here is to make sure that this doesn't pull out of the wall. This is not for me. It's not for my climbing wall. I don't know what belaying even really means. I thought it was a pirate thing. But I'm just gonna hang on this. If it'll hold me, it's gonna hold the person we made it for. I'm about 170 pounds. Anybody going up and down this is gonna be that size or way smaller. So let's just see if we can pull this out of the wall with just 2 of the lag screws in there. It's holding good. Very nice. Yeah, this is gonna work. So that's it. DIY belaying bar or belay bar or whatever.